Today on the 16th of January, the year 2026, I, Sepai Nolo, interview Mr. Bonokwane at his home in 5 Bainsclough Avenue, which is in Cartersland. Mr. Bonokwane, thank you very much for agreeing for this interview. The purpose of the interview is to write the history of our soccer within the Northern Cape. And since your involvement with the soccer team, local soccer team, Dalton Brothers, we saw it fit, to interview you and get your story into the story. I hope that you understand that we are not intending to make money out of what we are recording here. And you will, in the process, you will be able to get a copy of this interview. Okay. We just do it for educational purposes and for information. Because if we don't record our stories, our histories, most of the people go to their graves without even sharing anything. Having said that, could you tell us who Mr. Bonokwane is?
Thank you, Mr. Sepai. My name is Sebastian Bonokwane, popularly known as Jomo. I was born on the 17th January 1964 in Kharishiwe, Kimberley. My mother was Doreen Bonokwane, my father Peter Bonokwane. I have 3 siblings. Samuel Bonokwane, who was the firstborn and the secondborn. Joel Bonokwane, who is then deceased. The unfortunate situation is that he died on the 17th of January 2016. And then our last born is Genevieve Bonokwane.
Where did you grow up?
I was born in Vergenoeg at Khosi Street, 4284 Khosi Street. I attended the primary school at St. Peter's primary school up until standard 6 by then. From standard 7 to matric, I went to St. Boniface High School. Thereafter, I was involved in politics. Before that, after my matric, I went to Fort University. Unfortunately, we only spent about 11 days in class during 1985 because of the upheavals at that university. So we were then subsequently expelled at the University of Fort Hare. And then in 1987, I went to the University of the Western Cape. I came back in 1990, where I then started to work at COSATU for 10 years. I first started as Secretary of Education at COSATU. Subsequent to that, I was then in 1994 elected as Provincial Secretary of COSATU for the Free State and Northern Cape, and up until 1999. In 1999, I was then elected into the legislature. I was first appointed as MEC for Economic Development for a year. Thereafter, I was then moved to Sports, Arts and Culture. I only served 1 term for that particular duration. I am married to Cynthia Mapude Bonokwane, née Khobe. We have 3 children. The firstborn is Boipelo Bonokwane. The secondborn is Boingotla Bonokwane. And the lastborn is Tato Ntudi Bonokwane. We also have 2 grandchildren, Lenin Warabida Bonokwane and Chair Rorisan Bonokwane.
No, thank you. In your younger days, which team have you played any soccer?
I used to play Dalton Football, as it is popularly known, at Vergenoeg. We used to play at school also, and then at the age of 6, I was recruited by people who were staying around in Vergenoeg to play for Railway Swallows. At Railway Swallows, they said I was too short or small, so they didn't play me. My brother, Tiger Bonokwane, then suggested that I must go and play for Dalton Brothers. Thereafter, most of our guys, because Railway Swallows was nearer to where we were staying in Hosi Street, at the hostels. So the whole rush then came with me to Dalton Brothers. I was then appointed captain of Dalton Brothers C Division. I also was captain of B Division. I played in the A Division up until 1983. I retired in 1983 due to the upheavals then, because I was hunted by the police and I couldn't play soccer any longer. But I played for Dalton Brothers at that particular stage. And I also represented Dalton at the Kimberley Football Association, which was chaired by Mr. Majinja at that particular time and space.
During playing from your C division up to the A division, do you have any players? Do you know any players that you are playing with? And some of the individuals there must be or must have been very good players. Can you mention their names?
Yeah, we had a very formidable team because we moved from CDA. It was players like Bo Katacho Molale, who is still around. Eli Draguner, unfortunately, is deceased. Pew Springbok, unfortunately deceased. Jenna Sehole, who is also unfortunately deceased. Tui Leshoro is still around, and many others that I can't remember of end now.
You mentioned Leshoro. Is he the son of
Leslie?
Leslie.
Yes, he's the son of Leslie Leshoro.
Okay.
Luckily, we also played for Dalton Brothers. Mashudi, Luckily Mashudi.
Okay. Did you remember attending games of Dalton now?
Yes.
Whilst they were in the
Yes, we used to attend the games of Dalton Brothers, and while they were playing in the NPSL, we used to pay 5 cents at the King George, which was then Masenke. We used to call it Masenke. And in most of the instances, I experienced about 3 or 4 situations where there were fights at the King George. I remember when Dalton was playing with Mangaung, there was fights after the game and during the game. We were then, chased by the then Big 15, whom we were calling Matlalo, by then the municipal police who were responsible for the policing of games, etc. We had also an incident where they were saying that Orlando Pirates was coming to play Dalton Brothers, but they didn't pitch. So there was a hell of a fight where people were fighting, demanding their money. I remember Mr. Squash Titebe. He used to be the one who was collecting money at the King George Stadium. So we used to attend games of Pirates and Dalton Brothers and the PSL teams. I was impressed by the play of Pirates by then. Thus, I then supported the Pirates and Dalton Brothers at that particular time.
Which players can you remember, let's say, of Orlando Pirates by then?
Yeah, it was both Jomo Sono, Betson Banda, Webster Chaba, Russia Jacobs, and the rest.
Oh.
It was the cream of the Pirates team by then.
And playing with no turf, nothing,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
just
I was even telling the goalkeepers on Thursday at training where they wanted the gloves, you know, goalkeeper gloves. I told them that no, Betson Banda, Pensikudi were just playing that time without any gloves, and the ball that they were using was much more harder than the light ones that they are currently using, but they can't play without gloves.
So let's move to you now. Or let me ask this question. After you have retired and being involved in politics, were you still or was Dalton the team? Was it still active or inactive by then?
There was this period when there was a split between the NPSL and the NSL, where most of the teams went to the NSL, and then because of loyalty of Boma Parker and the rest, the officials of Dalton that felt that no, we are not going to follow the route of the NSL, we are going to stay in the NPSL. That's how when Dalton split, because most of the Dalton players like your Mazabans and the others went to form Desert Rabbits, which actually broke from Dalton Brothers. But I stayed with Dalton Brothers up until 1983 when I became much more involved with Dalton. I think it was when Dalton died, because I used to represent Dalton at the meetings of the association. The chairperson of Dalton by then was the late Mungale. The meeting used to happen at this place, and I was then appointed secretary of Dalton by then.
Where did Mr. Mohale stay?
He was staying in Moahi Street, corner Moahi Street.
And coming to now, you being involved now in or resuscitating Dalton Brothers now, can you take us through the steps or what happened that you can remember?
Okay. In 1999, I was then appointed, as I said, to the legislature. I then heard that there was a person who was selling estates, Mr. Louis Wilson. He was the owner of Diamond Aces. I spoke to him, and then I paid 50,000 for the status of Diamond Aces, and then I changed it to Dalton Brothers, because I wanted to revive the legacy and also ensure that Dalton Brothers continues to live up until wherever it will be. If we remember, it was founded in 1952. The founders of Dalton Brothers are no longer here, and I then thought that, well, no, let it continue up until another person, when I pass on, will also continue the legacy of Dalton Brothers.
And then you registered Dalton Brothers. Where did they start? Which division?
They were playing in the Vodacom division. So we played without any lower divisions, which was not healthy, because it was a team and not a club. You know, a club is a structure that has lower divisions in terms of the definition of your football constitution. A club should have at least two lower divisions, and the senior team. So we played, and then there was this player, Mr. Papi Mohapi, who was among the Vodacom players. He then, when he retired, he went to play in Springbok. When he came home, he said that, well, no, I want to assist you to develop youngsters. I then agreed. We then founded the smaller division of Dalton Brothers up till today, We are having divisions like your under 7, under 9, under 11, 13, 17, 19, promotional league, and the senior team which is playing in the regional league.
Interesting. Let's go to let's say the last 5 years.
Okay.
Oh, but it was COVID by then.
Yeah.
Let's take the last 10 years. The last 10 years, what has happened within Dalton Brothers?
The Dalton Brothers has been very active. We are fortunate that most of the time we spot talent. We have produced talent in the Northern Cape, and most of our players have been recruited by some of the other teams around Kimberley. And also, fortunately, 2 years back, one of our players was also recruited to start at Mahakota, started to play Dalton from the age of 5 up until the age of 17 when he left Dalton to go and play for the DDC of Orlando Pirates. We are also having currently one of our goalkeepers, young goalkeepers who also started at a very young age, of Fufu Badenhorst. He is now playing for the team of Mr. Farouk Khan, African Stars in Joburg. And we have also a lot of talented youngsters whom we want to expose to national talent. We have agreed with Orlando Pirates because last year we had applied to go and play at the Pirates Cup so that we can expose most of our youngsters to national scouters, but unfortunately we could not get the space. But the CFO of Orlando Pirates has said that if we have interest to go this year, we need to contact him and he will ensure that he reserves a space for us. So hopefully we shall be, participating in the Pirates Cup this coming year in order for us to can ensure that we expose most of these youngsters to the national stage.
I will divide my question into two, and it concerns players.
Okay.
The first one would be during the time when Dalton Brothers was playing in the first division, which players stood out for you? And then the second one would be your present youngsters, like the ones you want to promote. Which ones can you do you see that they've got potential and all that?
The outstanding players for me during the time of professional league was the goalkeeper Mkhaya Makala. We had Bopham Zion, we had Between, we had Skaratunga, we had Ace Motswantsweng also is still around, but is currently in Kuruman. I think if there is an opportunity, it will be good that he should also be interviewed. And we had also Douglas Chipa Daman. And I think a lot because by that time Dalton was very good and we had a lot of talent by then, and they also tried to recruit people like the late Catalandan. Unfortunately, they could not get him. We had Ace, who subsequently went to Dakis, and a lot of other players. In the current crop of players, I have a youngster who is, I think he's 17 now. They call him Zula. It's Mabe is the same name, is the left back. and then I have a right wing, Baki, and then I have the all-rounder is Shaka. Shaka is the name. And then I have my two goalkeepers who are very good. It's Gert, who stays in Greenpoint, and Bayo, who stays in Lerato Park. I also have another youngster whom we promoted last year. He's about 17 also. He's a very good midfielder. And then we have also another...
What's his name, the midfielder? Okay, if you can't remember,
yeah,
come back
okay, I'll come back to the name. And then we have also Alistair, he's a midfielder. He's from Rodapan, but he also plays for us. Most of them are still young. We have about, there is this rule in SAFA that you need at least to have 5 under 23 players. So we have registered 15 of the under 23. So in some instances we used about 8 of them. The way in which we have an abundance of talent, particularly our youngsters. So currently we are sitting in the top, and we hope that we'll progress and win this league, because I've told my players that we've been too long in the regional league. Previously, we used to be only a year or so to get promotion to the next level, but with this group, probably it's the building phase that is keeping us back, because most of the time now we prefer to play with youngsters and then couple them with experienced players in order for us to can progress.
My next question is about supporters. Have you seen maybe some elders who knew Dalton by then? Are there some people who are attending Dalton games, and then from the youth, how is the support from the youth for the present team?
Currently, the social fabric of our society is fractured, in that most of our youngsters are not interested in sport. Most of them are doing drugs, alcohol, etc. So most of the people who are watching the teams are players themselves and players from other teams, because when we play, we start at about 11. They feature about 4 to 5 clubs on one day. So most of those players then remain for the whole day watching games, and up until the last game finishes. But most of the time when we play, people appreciate our style of play, the talent that we have. And in some instances also it creates jealousy amongst the other teams, not to say that they don't like Dalton, but because of competition, they don't prefer, or that when we play we should win, because they are also contesting for particular positions. So there's the rivalry, let me say, the rivalry of teams is very heightened in the league that we are playing with. The other issue that I want to raise, that's why I'm saying that about 4 teams, that pitch is overloaded. We are only using one team, one ground for all the teams which are playing in the regional league in Kimberley, and also your LFA teams, local football association teams, are also playing and using that. The Masters are also using the same pitch, the AstroTurf in Khaleshiwa, the King George Stadium. So it shows that football in terms of resources doesn't get the attention that it necessarily deserves. There is no team that is supported by any sponsors in Kimberley apart from the Lotto. You know, the Lotto is the only institution that from time to time clubs apply to, and then we get some funding for equipment. Otherwise, there is no support for clubs in Kimberley in particular. We have business people who are doing business with the state. One was, thinking that they'll contribute back to society by supporting some of the clubs, like buying 2 pairs of boots or kit there and there, so that we should be able to take our football to the next stage. If you compare our football with other provinces, you'll see the difference in terms of your development, because they train on grass, they play on grass, and then they've got support from their big business. So in the Northern Cape, you train on gravel, every day, and then come weekend you play on at the turf. And as I was saying, the turf is squashed, because in some instances you must play at 11, you must play at 9. And when there are competitions like your netbank, knockouts, etc., you can play the whole day. If you win this game, you must then wait for 30 minutes. After that, you play again. It doesn't give the players enough time to recover. So that's the challenge that we are having of facilities and resources, and contribution by big business.
The support from the association, how do you compare it, or what do you think about
the support in what respect?
Administration.
Yeah, actually the association is just running the leagues where they call meetings, you go to meetings, you get your fixtures, featured, you play, So that's that kind of support. One would have wished that they could have gone a step further by engaging your local government or even the provincial government, for them to assist with resources. Like if you go to Galeshewe Stadium, that pitch is not playable. The beer stadium is there, but it's too expensive. We don't have money to hire the beer stadium. That's why most of us, we don't have home features, because the league requires that you must play on a turf. Though in the outlying areas like Bougainville, there are no turfs, but it's understandable. So with us, we've got 3 suitable grounds, but only one is available for us. So one would wish that the state, in particular Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, and your local municipality, would come and mobilize your business to, at least if you compare ourselves with your rugby and your cricket, they are more resourced. That's why you see the performance if you compare the rugby and soccer. Ours is, we just in this business because we love football. So if even if you go to where we are training, it's gravel. We are training currently at Renowned Ground in your way to Bartley. Where we are training, there is a massive manhole there. We just train, we play there.
Where is this place?
On your way to Bartley, in Blomanda. So it exposes players also to possible, injuries, etc. Just imagine if a player falls and hits.
Oh yeah, you see the ground. Yeah, you see at the end where Lerato Park Shint is almost at that side.
No, before that.
There is a ground on your left.
On your left, that ground.
Okay.
That ground.
Okay.
Yeah. So my wish and plea is, better contribution, particularly of our business, because they are making a lot of profit from our contributions as your consumers, and also from the state. But the least that they can do is even sponsoring a tournament, to say that this is a Beef Master tournament where we participate as youngsters. As earlier on when I said that the youth currently is not interested in football, they could have organized similar tournaments which can be played on your wards, to get our youth out of these funny things that are happening, because crime is increasing in Kimberley. There is that adage which says a child in sport is a child out of court, So if they can assist in addressing some of these issues, it will assist us very much, particularly ourselves as football owners, in that you try your level best, you train. When it comes to the fixturing, we usually pray that we must not be featured on a Sunday, because these kids don't sleep. They don't sleep. Sunday when we play, it's a challenge, So you must buy a lot of water, a lot of ice before you even play. 10 liters is done, because these kids are exhausted, they are tired, babalas, So that's the situation that we find ourselves in, but we are in this business because of not wanting to make any profit, but for us to ensure that the little that we contribute back to society is to address a part of the social ills in our society.
Mr. Bonokwane, let's say you have involved yourself in football, and one can see the sacrifices that you made, or that we have made. Can you tell us what your wish? I mean, you have mentioned, what should have been done and all that, but from your own personal wishes, what would you want? What would you like? What would be normal for you in order for you to carry on with the sport that you love?
My wish is that, as I said already, that we should get contributions from your big business, because currently the purchasing of equipment and boats, etc., it depends on club owners. We as club owners must dig deep into our pockets to ensure that we provide such. So the other issue is the provision of adequate, proper resources, like your stadia. If they can at least prepare Galeshewe Stadium better, and also the turf, and make the BS Stadium also available for us to can play at, and also arrange with schools which have your grass, your Kimberley Junior, your Kimberley High, etc., so that some of us can go and train on these pitches, because the fitness level will improve. Because now the coaches can't even do proper drills on gravel, So at least if the SGBs, because now the schools are run by SGBs, can find in themselves to accommodate some of the clubs, because we have been applying to some of this, but we can't get joy. We understand that they also are considering the safety and the safeguard of their facilities, etc. We also tried to use the school around Northern Cape, tactical. We used to train there also, but unfortunately we were then barred from training there. That's when actually we went to national playoffs, etc., because we were training properly. In that season, we didn't even lose a game. We only lost the last game when we had already wrapped the league. And then we gave an opportunity to those we hadn't played for the season. That's the only game that we lost, because we were training at this particular ground.
How is the media? Because once one has the support of the media, or the media is always writing about you, people get to know about.
Then have interest.
Exactly. How is the media, especially with your teams? Are there enough reportage on that?
No, unfortunately, there used to be reporting, but currently there is none. The only thing that they might do is just to, advertise the fixtures. We remember during the late Ike Tukakon, when he was still alive, you'd know that on Monday you'll have write-ups of the performance of teams, and that also attracted, as you're correctly saying, and gave clubs exposure. But currently, we also know that the DFA is no longer the DFA that we grew up knowing. We get it only once on a Friday and it's for free. I think it could have also made these projects a very wonderful one if they had also, had a slot for team profiling, or even, reporting, getting people who, take notes for them and then they report every Friday, to get this keen interest back again on soccer reportage and soccer advertisement. As you are saying, that media is the best way of exposure. We have been trying on Facebook, where we throw our scores, our performances on Facebook, but you'll get comments by people, hey, congratulations, etc., whatsoever. But when it comes to them physically, connecting with the team, it doesn't happen. They prefer to support your Chiefs, your Sundowns, your Pirates, etc., whilst teams at their doorstep are not getting that support. That's why people. But we see when these teams, produce these fancy T-shirts, you'll get people buying T-shirts of 1,200, but they've got children who are also in playing soccer, but they can't buy boots for them. Jomo them and other managers, Kimberley City, Macarena, etc., are the ones who have to dig deep in their pockets to buy boots for these children, which I think it's not fair. We are also, as I said, having this junior division. If they travel, I must pop out money, I must buy food, I must, provide transport for them, etc., because they play up until in reaching. So the contribution of their parents would be well appreciated also. If I remember, during our days we used to join a club by pay. Now you don't. We used to buy our own boots. Now you just come, fill a form. The club must take you to a doctor for assessment. The club must give you boots. So what you only are supposed to be doing is to go to training and then go to play. That's what is currently happening. And then they expect you to buy them tracksuits, to buy them, which is of course also promoting the brand, But the unfortunate situation is that, the fiscus is very tight. The economy is not peaking, and also your support from your bourgeois is not there. And also we used to say, only these patriotic bourgeoisie, they are also not there. They are not patriotic. If you can't assist your kids to develop and grow. We can't call you patriotic. And at the other hand, you see when our white counterparts, kids, are playing cricket or rugby, you'll see most of their parents are there. They've got almost everything and anything. They've got sponsorship. What is this company? Kilani. This one, Yamo Party West. They are supporting rugby. They've got their tournaments, etc., etc. But with us, it's a struggle. It's a struggle. You ask. I have even now approached a few progressive business people to just request, 22 pairs of boots. It's difficult. So I must now look around where I can, get sense from where, so that we can at least have these kids to have boots.
I think this is the final question from my side. What would you like to see Dalton, the team Dalton, be, in the future? Or let's say tomorrow when you are not around, you'd like to watch the Dalton team being progressive or
my objective is to see Dalton Brothers playing again at the highest league in the country, which is your PSL. We have the potential to do it, though it's about a struggle. The issue that is pertinent currently, that is stalling the development of any team in the Northern Cape, it's your officials, your middlemen, who actually are a serious hindrance. Up until SAFA addresses the issue of people who are officiating at our games, we are not going to progress as the Northern Cape, because most of these youngsters get frustrated most of the time. In each and every game that is playing, if you can even go Saturday or Sunday on yourselves just to go and observe, the most of the time the people who are spoiling the games are your model people. And that also affects the morale. The issue of referees is very fundamental for us to progress as the province itself, because even if you go to regional and provincial playoffs, you'll see some of these games are predetermined. This team is not gonna win. The team that must win is this one. But if you compare the teams, this one that has not won has the best material than this one that does one. That's why most of them, they don't do it at your national or provincial playoffs. You'll find that most of the time teams who get promoted are teams from your Appington districts and the other districts. But here in Francis Part, it's a little bit of a challenge. But my wish and hope is that Dalton Brothers should, in the near future, play in the highest league in the country.
Do you have anything that you can add on top of what we have been saying?
What I want to say is that the structures of football needs to be, addressed and corrected. During the time when we played, there were a lot of competitions for youngsters, like your Chappies Little League and the other competitions, which produced the cream of players nationally and even contributed to the strength of the national leagues. But the current situation is that there are no competition. Even during our time of the KFA, Kimberley Football Association, we used to have this Abyss tournament, you know, where we knew that you must play very hard in order for you to can win the Abyss. The Abyss was giving you soccer kits, you know, that's what we are playing for. So in us in me requesting that the structures should be relooked at, particularly to compensate for the efforts of the coaches, at least if they can have you know, tournaments where they pay with, you know, soccer boots, where they pay with your kits, etc. It doesn't necessarily have to be even your medals. It doesn't necessarily have to be cash, you know. So if we can, you know, have that within our officials who are running the associations, both regionally and the locals, because we have your Salt Lake local, Magareng local, Dikgatlong, and then Pokwan, you know. If these particular local municipalities, the football association, can mobilize resources from their businesses, like there is SPAR almost in every of these particular towns, where we can have a SPAR tournament, you know, where all these people play and then you get a kit or you get something for you to can, you know, be compensated for your efforts, because at least it assists lessen the burden from the club owners who will have to buy kits and that, at least, you know, to appreciate the effort that team officials or team owners are having. We will appreciate it if you know, the association should try to have these tournaments. We use also during Mr. Wilson's time, may his soul rest in peace, to have your Easter tournaments, you know. Currently there is no Easter tournaments. The only tournament that is organized is for the Masters. Our level, we don't have tournaments. Clubs on their own are the ones who are arranging these particular tournaments. During Mr. Wilson's time, it you know, organized tournaments which attracted, you know, participants from as far as Joburg, your Klecksdorp, your wherever. I remember at one stage we had an engagement with Kaizer Chiefs, the juniors, when Junior Kanye was still playing. Unfortunately, we lost 1-0 to Kaizer Chiefs by that time. So it shows the will. If you have a will, you know, if you have passion, you will be able to do what actually is supposed to be done to ensure that we get our kids from the streets. We get our kids, particularly during your festive times, your Easter. That's where most of our kids, you know, arrive at home, or 6 momoshong, or 5 momoshong, unlike Anaile for the whole day, a tournament for the whole Easter weekend. Because most of them have and they don't go to church. At least Mr. Wilson would keep us busy during that particular time of the Easters, and even in during December time we used to have some tournaments, you know, but now which is not assisted. The issue that I've raised about the stress of us playing on a Sunday requires us, if it's in a normal situation, to get these kids at a particular point where we camp for that particular weekend. You take them from on a Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday morning you release them to go home. But the unfortunate situation, again, as I was indicated, we are constricted when it comes to resources. Ideally, we could have done that. Or ordinarily, if we can just get a person owning a garage, big garage, you can get these kids, but again, you cannot force them to go on camping, because it's not part of the contract that you have for the players. The contract is just saying that you contract this person to play. But if you had a separate contract from the contract that he signs when he registers with the association, it could have assisted. But for now, we don't see it as being necessary. But also it's incumbent upon the players also to exercise some discipline. But ideally one could have liked to collect, because if you have them on camp, aside from the issues of ill discipline, you build that team spirit, you build that brotherhood.
Okay.
Mr. Bonokwane, thank you for the interview. I wish you well.
Thank you, sir.